If I had to put a title on this chapter of my time in Quarm, I think it would be called The Quit Moment. By level 10, I was struggling to solo anything that wasn't blue or weaker. The bandits of the Karanas were still too strong to deal with alone, trying to find a group in Black Burrow felt pointless, and soloing the deeper depths of the burrow was also too difficult for my barbarian. Will-o-wisps and the Quanos Hills are carved out of iron and very resistant to magic, and resigning myself to killing green gnolls to deliver their teeth was starting to slow down as a viable way to earn experience. My shaman spells felt watered down, my melee combat was okay, but also felt underwhelming, even while being buffed to the gills, and this is a weird feeling in an MMORPG. The shaman class feels like a puzzle piece in the wrong puzzle box. I felt like the Diet Coke of other classes, just enough warrior to hold a hammer and shield, and just enough druid to cast spells, but not really standing on my own as a combatant. Finding people to play with at this level was also feeling like a grind. The mages of Blackburrow didn't need the buffs, and everyone else that I passed seemed content with their journey. Sure, everyone is always thankful for the line of buffs that I could offer, but then they would thank me, bow, and go about their business. Was this the shaman's main attraction? Was I just a buffer class that's whole purpose is to toss out spells to make other classes look cool? And in all honesty, I was starting to rethink my class and character. I even considered making episode 2 about a different character altogether. I had to dig in and keep logging back into the game. I'm not the best EQ player to begin with, and I did absolutely no research on my class before selecting the shaman and just diving headlong into classic EQ. There had to be a light somewhere in this tunnel. If I could just get a few more levels, get a few more spells, and just grit down on the grind, there had to be a strong playstyle for this class. I just needed to find it and chip away at these lower levels. It began in Blackburrow. I ran into an ogre. No, like literally. These dumpy boys can suck up a whole hallway like a fat kid on a cake line, all decked out in fat rolls, bronze, and hit points. We were both kind of like exploring Blackburrow, so I asked if he wanted to group up, and he was all about it. Real quick before we get too far, I do want to take a break from the adventure. I know the video just started. I just need to talk to a specific class for just a second. Dear mages, we get it. You're powerful. Your pets are like elemental gods all tweaked out on that shit Jason Statham took in Crank. Yeah, you don't need our help. You got this. But the rest of us lowly peasants would like some experience too. At every turn in my adventure, there is always a mage camping in the corner, fingering his pet dingus.
Hello? Hello? I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room!
And yeah, it's annoying to inspect a mage who is slapping the shit out of monsters, like that dude in that one meme.
Larry!
Larry, you can't just...
Oh, Larry! Oh, are you alright? How did... Larry!
And all he's wearing is a diaper. All I'm asking mages is maybe just understand that the rest of Norath would love to benefit from some of that arcane badassitude. Maybe join a group from time to time instead of always being all magical and edgy when asked if you'd like to team up. Anyway, as Zork and I descended into Blackburrow, we started to invite every barbarian we came across. Armed with beards, blades, and belly fat, we stormed Blackburrow. As one of the two shamans in the party, I stepped into the role of healer. And to be honest, shaman healing is kinda shit. Fellow shamans, do not do what I did and use light healing. Use Ender Fire, it heals for 20 hit points and costs less mana on a speedy cooldown. But this was working out. We weren't just winning against the gnolls, we were crushing it. Until we picked a fight with a group of elite gnoll guards and their shaman buddies, and Ragnar, our party warrior, went down. We were going to lose this fight. I braced myself for the incoming corpse run. Then DJ Ports showed up, a halfling healer who saw our group in trouble, and he used his superior healing to keep us alive. I didn't even notice him until the battle began to clear up. 2 barbarians and an ogre really can't eat up a small space, but he saved us. So to the player of DJ Ports, thank you, little buddy. You're a hero. We helped Ragnar get his corpse, and I suggested that maybe we try fighting bandits in Karana. Zorak the ogre and Fenrir the other shaman were all about it, but Ragnar our warrior and Kilgannon, badass name, the rogue, had to go for the day. Before we move on, I want to thank you guys for the awesome group. Norath is a cooler place with you guys part of it. I hope your journeys are easy and badass. I want to start this chapter by talking about the Karanas. Developers, what the hell were you thinking? Why is this place so damn big? Like, it takes eternity to cross this damn zone for no reason. Did someone get a hold of like the creation kit back in the day and just go batshit and decide to make like 1,000 miles of grass? Like, was there a meeting and some dipshit had the bright idea of literal endless fields and not a single person said, "No, Ron, that sounds terrible"? I almost think that these zones exist to make the teleport spells more desirable. Seriously, every time I'm in this zone, someone is in chat asking for a port or a so, followed by,
Oh, somebody kill me, please!
As for the bandits of Karana, they have ninja sashes that can be turned in at the Paladins Guild back at Sony EQ headquarters. The bandits come in a variety of flavors. You have your basic bitch bandit, wearing leather drip and can occasionally wield a bronze weapon. This type of bandit comes in a menagerie of models, from Todd Howard in his snazzy leather jacket to either male or female barbarians. Also amongst the bandit brigade are the occasional brigand. This is always a barbarian male all dripped out in chain armor, and he can hit anywhere from 1 to 30 plus damage with his damn fist. Then there are the druid bandits. Infinite mana for healing and flame spells that can hit for up to 75 damage, and they can melee just as good as the other bandits. I'm starting to think that the bad guys of Norath don't have the same rules as us lowly players. But Zorak, Finn, and I were able to hold the camp well enough. While there, we met Wilder, a human druid who was an immense aid in the healing department of our party dynamic. Look, it's not that the shaman can't be a healer, I just don't like it. I want to smack shit with my weapon and debuff and rot the enemy. It has nothing to do with the class, just a playstyle preference. But we held our ground against the bandits for quite a while. Sort of. Until we became overwhelmed at one point. Finn and Wild fell in the fight, and Zorak and I were forced to flee to the zone, which is like 9 fucking miles away. Thank the Maker for Spirit of the Wolf. But we recovered, and we were able to retake the camp and remain there until the group decided to call it a night and parted ways. I want to thank you guys for the awesome experience. Not, just the levels, but the camaraderie of the group. Good luck on your journey, fellas. The next day, I was back after it. The bandit sashes turned in for gold and bronze weaponry that can be sold for delicious platinum. And since the barbarian economy is all kinds of bullshit, I decided to farm the bandits solo for both levels and money. While at the farm of ill repute, I discovered that the farmers also carry bandit sashes. Okay, now just wait a damn minute. I know killing them hurts my faction with the locals of Karana and some other holy order or some shit. But turning in sashes and killing bandits reverses this negative faction hit. And why do they have sashes if they're not a part of a bandit gang, huh? They're bad guys. And they're easy to kill. So yeah, I murdered the farmers alongside their bandit masters. And then I met Pistachio, a high elven enchanter. Okay, so my first impressions of Pistachio were pretty negative. Listen, I'm just trying to be honest. I can get judgy sometimes, okay? And over my course of playing the game, every pure arcanist I saw other than Khaleesi was always too busy for other people. And the enchanter class has a reputation as one of the elite solo classes in Everquest. So when I first saw him, I was like, oh, fantastic, a fucking dress wearer has come to take over my spot with his overpowered pet and bullshit magic. I couldn't have been further from the truth. Pistachio asked me to group almost immediately, and together we sat at the farm and murdered bandits and farmers, because they're evil, wholesale. We shared some laughs about the game, and I made another friend. I can't overstate just how much more fun EQ is when you're in a group, even with it's just one more person. The game is lonely when you're soloing, and sure, the loot is all yours when you're alone, but the people on Quarm are a fantastic community. Pistachio and I stayed at the farm because a level 25 fucking mage had the run of basically the rest of the bandit spawns.
Yeah, boy.
Which is a little annoying, but maybe he needed the money. If the shaman spells cost an arm and a leg, I can only imagine the cost of a magician's formal education. Maybe he had loans to pay off, what do I know? Real quick before we go any further, thank you, Pistachio. You kind of softened my heart when it comes to spellcasters, and I hope that you have an amazing adventure, friend. Thank you for the camaraderie, brother. Pistachio and I had raked in sashes and camped the farm for quite some time, but I had made another friend and I hit level 12. The platinum was starting to add up, and I was beginning to claw my way out of the lower levels, and it was an amazing feeling. Progress in Everquest is pretty damn slow. No, that's a lie. It's fucking slow. I feel like it takes forever to get anywhere in this game, especially since I have no idea where to farm for XP or gear. But that slow burn is a satisfying feeling every time you hear that sweet ding noise, or, unlock new spells or abilities. I was starting to fall into the rhythm of the game of Everquest, not just hitting, sitting, and selling, but how the game is played. You have to work for every inch of progression in this game. The grind doesn't end at the edge of Everfrost. No, Everfrost is the training zone of how EQ plays. Now, I'm sure there are variations based on, zone and what class of hero you decide to play. But the grind is ever looming in Everquest, waiting for you to start chipping away at its bulky iceberg to reach whatever goals that you've set for your hero. And when I stopped trying to finish the cake that was my hero's journey, and just enjoy that I had a fork to devour the cake of journey with, and a plate to house my hero's cake of experience, and then just enjoy the delicious fucking cake while I was there to experience it, I found the grind to be more enjoyable. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, my wife brought home some cake, so I'm gonna be right back. So the Bandit farm was now my go-to place for both money and experience. Nothing else I had come across in the game was even remotely close to the amount of platinum that I could make by murdering bandits and evil farmers. They're fucking evil. They have sashes. Anyway, upon returning, I met Anna. Look, I can read, but we're gonna call her Anna, okay? Great. So I met Anna, the Shadow Knight, and Caldred, the mage. Anna is very lively and can type fast as fuck boy. She's all over the place. It was like playing with Khaleesi, just constantly talking and moving. She's excitable and pretty damn good at playing the Shadow Knight. And Caldred's a fucking magician. We met up outside the farm while I was bored between killing bandits and decided to take on a will-o-wisp. I killed it, and Caldred sent me a tell informing me that killing will-o-wisp would ruin my faction for a shaman quest. It was an honest mistake on his part, people, so we're going to overlook that shit. I could care less. But it got us talking, and I found both Cal and Anna camped near the farm, so I buffed them, and they invited me to group. I accepted and mentioned that we could kill farmers for sashes as well. Anna didn't care, and Cal wasn't about that life and was concerned about his precious little faction with the peasants of the field and immediately left the group. Now, I had said we didn't have to kill the farmers if they didn't want to, but he left anyway and started to run off. Of course, he just party dumped. Mr. Magic Hands can't ruin his faction with the evil fucking peasants. Anna chased him down not far off, and Cal rejoined after I restated that we didn't have to kill the farmers. And we ended up picking up a ranger, Xavius. We used alpha loot to determine whose turn it was to loot sashes. I'm going to be honest here, I had no idea that meant alphabetical by name. So yeah, I felt like a dipshit when I finally figured this out. But the bandits were no match for this party dynamic. A shaman, a shadow knight, a ranger, and Sparkle Fingers with his pet lava monster were just too much for the criminals of Karana to handle, and we slapped the shit out of some bandits. Boom, I love that sound. Don't lie, you do too. I hit level 13 and 14. This bandit grind was badass. I was already starting to look shit up on the wiki to see what shaman gear I could afford and started planning a trip to Freeport to visit the EC tunnel to shop for some better equipment. But I wanted to have a healthy pile of platinum before heading out and have some more levels before attempting the journey. Oh yeah, the party. Well, like most groups, it was awesome while it lasted. And we all added each other as friends. Yes, I added Caldred as a friend, and during our time together in the group, he began to grow on me a little bit. Oh, fuck you, I'm human. I make mistakes about people, even if they play mages. But I had achieved level 14, and that meant new spells. So it was time to return to Halas. Man, the feelings upon returning to Halas, now level 14, none of the monsters outside of the frozen highway even wanted a piece of my shaman. And the drone of the howling wind was kind of nice. It was a weird feeling, like revisiting a house that you once lived in as a kid, and it was peaceful, and I kind of missed it in a weird sort of way. And I was glad that I had to return to Halas to purchase spells and abilities from time to time. The next day, I logged in, intent on heading back to the bandit farm to continue my conquest of the evil peasants and their bandit overlords. XP in Everquest is always easier to obtain in a group, so I put out a feeler in the out-of-character chat to see if anyone wanted to party up. Caldred the Mage responded and invited me to kill bandits together. Caldred and I took up residence at the far side of the bandit camp. On the lower level of the hillside, a small group of bandits spawn, and occasionally 2 roaming bandits wander into the area, making it a more relaxed farm spot than trying to hold the actual bandit camp. The spawns were slower, offering Cal and I time to chat and get to know one another, and I have never been more wrong about an initial impression of another person. Cal, I owe you an apology. As a mage, Cal did not need me to handle the bandits, even though I have teased the mages for their ability to solo and the power of their pets. They really can kick some ass. So keeping control of the camp was pretty easy. Cal and I got to talking about the game and what we thought might be really cool additions to Everquest, like rare boss encounters for each zone and even each faction. Our example was because the bandits drop sashes, that if after killing so many of the bandits, occasionally maybe a bandit tailor would appear, and upon being slain, instead of dropping new and rare loot, maybe upon his death the players who killed him received a buff for an hour or so, increasing their damage to the bandit faction, and offering an increased chance at receiving a sash as loot, along with a solid reward in experience and faction. This is probably one of the most peaceful days that I have had on Quarm. Just hanging out with a newfound friend and taking turns looting sashes and talking about video games and life and learning about another person and their journey in Everquest in general. For me, this is Everquest in its purest form. Not the grind, not the repeatable quests, not levels and the push for the next shiny new spell. I do love all of those things about the game, but they all pale in comparison to making a friend in the game and grouping with awesome people. I'm gonna be honest, when I first started playing Classic EQ, I expected it to be a ghost town, a solo experience, and maybe a 15 to 20 minute video of me being nostalgic over a game that had stolen my heart as a kid. But some of the old school charm and camaraderie is still here, and I couldn't be more thankful to all the awesome people that I've met during my time in Project Quarm. As for Caldred the Mage, if you ever need a shaman, all you need to do is ask, brother. Thank you for the friendship, and I know that your journey is going to be amazing. Because you're walking around with an elemental fucking lava monster that hits like a Mack truck. God damn. The bandit grind and all the sashes had turned my pittance of platinum into a stack of 300 plat. And I know that isn't shit in the Everquest economy, but I was hoping it would be enough to outfit my shaman in some new gear. But first I needed to get to the East Common lands and the tunnel within. I managed to hit level 16 during my time with Caldred, and I felt that I could make the run to Freeport. I don't have much to say about the journey other than holy walking simulator Batman. Thank the maker I have Spirit of the Wolf on tap, because this run is stupid. But I managed to make it all the way to Freeport without incident. I purchased some bandit armor from the posting in the Quarm Discord, and I made a few other purchases while hanging out in the EC tunnel. This cave is just chock full of people hawking their wares, and to be honest, I have no idea the actual value of any given item, so I just went with whatever they asked for. I ended up picking up some stat jewelry and a new shield and the Gloomwater harpoon. This was a massive progression upgrade for my character, and to be honest, I have some serious respect for the people who play classic Everquest as a solo self-found character, because with just a fistful of platinum, you can drastically change the survivability of your character. So to you guys out there going solo self-found, I tip my hat to your resolve. With all of this new gear, I wasn't sure where to go next for my adventure, but I wanted to return to the Quanos side of Antonica, because I knew that I would have to return to Halas at certain levels for spells and abilities, and all of the new gear had put a pretty big dent in my funds, and the bandits would be an easy farm to rebuild my money for new spells. So I left, to seek out new adventures in the world of Project Quarm Everquest. I'm not sure if I'm going to make an episode 3 to this series. I feel that I have covered most, if not everything, that Everquest has to offer as a game mechanically. I know there are raids and in-game stuff and places to explore and crafting, but I mean as far as I can elaborate on. Sure, I can tell you guys where I went and who I met and all of that, but in a game that takes an eternity for me to get levels and is primarily about hitting, sitting, and selling, I feel that it is what this series would become. Just me saying I went here, I met this person, and they were pretty cool. This video was initially made to cover my nostalgic love for a game that I had assumed was dead, and it's not. Far from it. Everquest on Project Quarm is alive and well. The community is top tier, and the game still has the charm and captivating experience that I remember playing back at the age of 15. Now, before anyone freaks out, I am not done making Everquest content. I'm just not sure if I can do so with the same comedic manner that was achieved in the first episode. In short, I want to tell the story of a character and try to stretch my narrative capabilities. I have entertained a more Let's Play style of journey in Everquest, without all of the memes and sarcasm. Okay, that's bullshit. There will still be some memes and sarcasm. But I want to put my storytelling abilities to the test. I hope that this doesn't disappoint anyone, and I have only held off on starting the new series because I didn't want to overstep my limitations and struggle to create more than one series at a time. Okay, so here's my plan. Destin, my shaman, will become a stream character. I have held off on streaming him because he is the protagonist of the Quarm series, but I would love to do some live streams with him and meet some of you in-game and group or chat. My new character will be coming soon, and with him I have planned one hell of a journey. Before I go, I want to thank you for watching and all of the love and support, and I hope that you are having an amazing adventure. Real quick, thank you to all the new and returning subscribers. I appreciate you. And a special thank you to my channel members for your generosity. You guys are the best. Recording for the new Quarm series will be starting as soon as this video hits the algorithm, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all again. Take care, friends. Goodbye.